Hey, everybody. It's the Longhorn Confidential for Tuesday, October 21st. I'm Danny Davis, the American-Statesman, joined today by David Eckert, Cedric Golden. How you fellas doing today?
I'm doing great. We're in two different conference rooms.
We are.
We're hiding from each other. It's gonna be
I'm in front of my fireplace where I usually shoot stuff because I don't have a snazzy office with the books and stuff in the background. But this is where I like to shoot stuff, so I'm good.
You have access to this snazzy office if you want to come down here. Come down here near the airport. Come hang out with us.
Well, I wanted to, but the helicopter rental place was closed, so I wasn't able to get down there today. But maybe next week, Daniel.
Well, let's just get into it. We're gonna do a little something a little different today. Texas is head to Mississippi State this weekend. So before the Longhorns head to Starkville, we're going to do a little buy or sell game. Texas is 5-2 this season, 2-1 in the SEC play. They are ranked 22nd in the AP poll, but you may not know that if you were checking out the message boards or our comment section or just talking amongst Texas fans or reporters, because this past weekend Texas went down to Kentucky. Said was in Lexington over at Kroger Field, had to stay there a little longer than he expected to because that game went to overtime. It was a 16-13 win for the Longhorns. Mason Shipley hit a 45-yard field goal to walk it off. After Kentucky went for it on fourth down near the Texas goal line and was stuffed by Michael Taaffe and a bunch of other Longhorns. And we're actually going to start with Michael Taaffe because Michael took exception to some of the reporters like Cedric who were in the post-game press conference and some of the tone of some of the reporters and how they're asking some questions about the offense. Essentially, Michael's overall point was, we won an SEC game. Why is everyone being so negative? We won. That's the point of playing football. So we're gonna start there. Play a little game of buy or sell. Dave, we'll start with you. Buy or sell. Buy or sell what Michael Taaffe was trying to sell in his post game press conference on Saturday night.
Yeah, that's going right on eBay. That's sell.
Is there still an eBay out there?
Yeah, yes.
I didn't know, fam. I don't have anything to sell, so I didn't know. That's cool.
Well, you could start with these comments, okay? Look, when the expectation is to win a national championship and make the college football playoff, and you go out and put out a performance that doesn't align with those expectations, you're going to be questioned like it. And I think Michael, for context, came out with Arch. And I think Michael does that intentionally, especially when Arch isn't performing, just kind of as a way of protecting him. And so naturally, given the way that Arch played, there's going to be some negative questions because Arch played really poorly, right? So it's not our job to sell sunshine and rainbows. Sorry. And look, I understand where Michael's coming from, right? Like, I don't want to dump on him. I get it. But we're just trying to do our job, and our job is not making a Texas victory that wasn't impressive out to be something that it wasn't.
That, are you buying or are you selling? How are you reacting in the moment when Michael decided to give you a sermon on a Saturday instead of a Sunday?
I'm going to talk to some of our older viewers that watched Eddie Murphy's Trading Places. Sell. Just, I understand what Mookie Taaffe was doing. He protected his boy. It's not our job to be, sugar plums and honey buns after you just beat a bad Kentucky team by 3 points when your quarterback didn't play well. And your quarterback hasn't had a good road game yet. You can't count on you. Half the crowd is wearing burnt orange, and they were louder. You can't. That's not a road game. But Ohio State and Florida and Kentucky, not a good performance in either game. And so, when you're preseason number one, when your quarterback has been anointed as the Heisman favorite by people like Kirk Bowles, then when he doesn't meet that mustard, when he doesn't cut it, then those questions are going to follow. If Texas was 6-0 and Arch had 20 touchdowns and only 3 picks, then the sunshine and honey buns are going to be falling from the sky. But that's not real life, is it? So I'm selling, and Arch has got to play better. And the first person that will admit that is Arch, because he's been on cut and paste for 6 weeks. I got to play better. I got to play better. I got to play better. He knows it. And so, Michael, stay in your lane. I like Michael Taaffe. Good kid. He's a good kid. But let the grown folks do their job. We got a job to do.
I'm actually going to buy what Michael was saying.
Stop it.
I do think there's a little bit of a caveat. I mean, I don't think Michael should be telling anyone how to necessarily do their job. Every reporter in that room had to go drive 2 hours to Cincinnati at midnight. I don't think anyone was going to be smiling in that post-game press conference. So you might need to chill a little bit of that. But I do buy the juxt of his argument that, this is the SEC. A win is a win. I mean, he was correct. Georgia last year barely beat Kentucky in Kentucky. That was a 1-point game. I believe there was a missed field goal late. 2 years ago when Georgia won the 2022 SEC championship, they barely beat Kentucky in Kentucky. Alabama, when they won in 2023, barely beat a very bad Arkansas team and barely beat Texas A&M, which was an all right team. That was a 7-win bowl team down in College Station. So this is the SEC. I mean, stuff happens. A win is a good thing, and
But Danny, were the questions?
and that is what I'm getting to. Like, I do think that there probably needs to be a little bit of a give and take there. Michael often talks about his legacy, and I don't think he wants his legacy to be beating Kentucky in overtime. There's bigger and bigger things that this Texas team needs to address, and hopefully, if you're a Texas fan, this team is spending a lot of time addressing some of those things that we'll talk about in a second. But I don't fault Michael Taaffe for going in and being a little annoyed that after they won a game, the tone of a press conference is negative. He needs to let people do their jobs. And if some questions come out as positive, it would have been equally ridiculous if people were going to that post-game press conference asking Arch, hey, Arch, you think he deserved to be back in the Heisman race after that performance? But I'll buy it a little bit just because winning in the SEC is indeed hard. Georgia did barely beat Kentucky last year, and Texas did what it needed to do. And their title hopes are still alive, at least for 1 week. But since we talked about Arch, let's just continue talking about Arch. He wasn't great at Kentucky, 12 of 27 for 132 yards, is not going to get it done down the road. The conversation whenever Arch plays poorly now tends to lean towards, hey, should Matthew Caldwell begin a shot? Should KJ Lacey begin a shot? Steve Sarkisian on Monday did address why he benched Quinn Ewers for a little bit last year for Arch. It hasn't pulled the trigger this year with Arch. So Seth, we'll start with you. Buy or sell? Arch Manning should be benched
For a full game? No. I sell. No, I don't think so. He's got to be allowed to grow in his position. He's just getting started. Colt McCoy had problems early. Vince Young, they were thinking of moving him to wide receiver his first year as a starter, and then he becomes Vince Young. So I think I don't know that he's been developed as well. I don't think he's been developed as well for a guy that's in his third year on campus. Matthew Caldwell, in a very small sample size, has been electric. But I'm not against sitting in for a series. What? On the field from the sideline, then go back in there. But at 5-2, I don't know that this is the time to bench him for a full game, because then you really open up a can of worms. Because is Matthew Caldwell really that good? You think the questions are tough now? Oh, wait till Arch Manning is over there with a ball cap for a full game. Then and these fans get Matt Caldwell in there, and they find out he's Matt Caldwell. He played at Troy, and that's where he played, right? Troy. So I say no. I don't bench him for a full game, but I've never been against sitting a guy for a series or two to let him catch his breath, like they did with Quinn. And Daniel, we talked about this the other day. If Arch Manning had blown up against Georgia when he said Quinn, we never would have saw Quinn again in that game. We wouldn't. But Arch didn't play well, so he had an out to put Quinn back in.
why I sell this. Steve in retrospect can say that was to give Quinn a breather, but let's face it, if Arch had played better than Arch played, we would never have seen Quinn again on the field. This ship sinks or sails with Arch Manning. It's that simple. You put all your eggs in that basket. That's what it is. Matthew Caldwell, yeah, I think Texas fans can feel confident. The Texas coaching staff can feel confident that, if something happens to Arch, Matthew can come in here in a pinch, or, they can, game plan for KJ Lacey or maybe Trey Owens if he's still on the team, that they can do something down the road. But this is Arch's team, and you made that bed and you got to lay in it. Are you buying or selling a benching of Arch Manning?
Yeah, I'm selling it. I am incredibly skeptical that a kid who bounced around between the FCS and the group of five and was never really an established starter is going to come in behind this absolute just train wreck of an offensive line and play well. Like, I don't see it. And, and you've got a freshman in KJ Lacey. Is it really fair to him to put him behind this mess and see what he does? No. So, and I think you just got to stick with Arch. Like Danny said, this is the bed that you made. Now you got to lay in it. I don't think they I don't think they constructed their roster in a way that allowed them to have a plan B if Arch was good. So, yeah, you just got to deal with it.
You know what, guys? Daniel, this will all pay dividends next year. Sark's going to go into that portal and get some better offensive linemen, and they're got to get a little scat back for that backfield. Somebody, a game-breaking type that you can throw a dump-off pass to. He makes one guy miss and he's gone. They don't have that. They need to get those two things fixed, and they will be fine. These growing pains that Arch Manning's encountering this year are going to be fine next year. Is he going to be the second coming of Jesus Cristo? No. He's not. But he's going to be okay. He's going to be a serviceable, good quarterback who's going to get drafted into the NFL. And I think he's going to be an NFL quarterback. But he's going to be better with better people around him.
So for the people viewing at home who haven't completely checked out after Cedric started talking about next season and Arch being a serviceable quarterback, we got two more buy or sells left. If it's not Arch's fault, it's probably Steve Sarkisian's fault. Texas has really struggled on offense. And Steve, he's the play caller. On Monday, he was asked by Onward Richardson over at Orange Bloods. Someone finally raised their hand and asked if Steve should consider giving a play call, and Steve was very adamant that is not happening. So we're just gonna go there. Buy or sell. Steve Sarkisian, the offensive mastermind behind the number 78 scoring and total offense in the NCAA. Should he give up play calling duties? Eck, we'll go back to you for this one.
I'm gonna buy with a caveat. I don't think you do it mid-season. I think that's silly. You don't have a hire in place or like the structure around you to make that happen. But I mean, the data tells you that the best teams have more or less CEO style coaches and elite coordinators. I was listening to Clark Lee, who's the coach at Vanderbilt, who has them rolling, by the way. Talk about he was hired and he coached their defense. He called their defensive plays, and he essentially said, this is a 60-hour a week job that I, as a head coach, am not able to devote 60 hours to because I've got so much other crap going on. So I just think it's not a reflection of Steve being bad at it. I don't think. I think it's a reflection of all of the other responsibilities that you have as a modern head coach. I don't think you're able to put the time in that you need, and so I do think it would be good for him to explore maybe hiring an offensive coordinator this offseason.
That
I'm with David. I sell who you gonna give it to this year? AJ Milwee? I mean, Kyle Flood? No. You don't have a play caller on your staff. So you got to call plays for the rest of the year. You do. But there's going to come a time when you're going to have to realize that, man, And just because, and I'm with him, you hire an elite, maybe a former head coach who can call plays. Because guess what? Steve Sarkisian won championships as an OC for Pete Carroll, for Slick Nick. So he needs to figure out who that is and then bring that guy in. And no one says that you still got the headset on, Sark. No. We're not going to run that here. Let's do this. So, but it's going to take a lot off your plate. You're still going to be in that room because you're an offensive coach. But I think it would help his cause. Like Ryan Day. Ryan Day goes, oh my God, I won't have to think about 4th and 13 now in the middle of a game when our defense is struggling. I can devote some time. So it's an easy call, I think. I think it's got a lot to do with ego. I do. You know, he gave up the play calling at USC to Clay Helton. He gave that up. What are you doing, Eck? He gave that up. And so, but maybe he didn't want to do it again. But yeah, I agree. I think they're going to be better off if he's in that room with a respected offensive mind that shares his same philosophies. And that's why you would hire a guy like that.
I guess this is a sign that we've been going long. If the lights are going off in Eck in our conference rooms, I guess it's gonna happen.
Oh yeah, they've got the timer. Yeah, I know we're going long. I was shooting a podcast in there one time, and it's video, and right in the middle of it, it went dark. And
I think
The lights were going out on Steve Sarkisian's play calling tenure.
oh my God,
We brought props. I agree with everything y'all said. I buy this. I think it's an off-season move, just because arguably the person with the best OC record is Dwayne Aquina, and because he was the OC at Arizona for 4 years in the mid '90s. But that's obviously not going to happen. Chad Scott
plays in 30 years, man.
OC history. But there's not a better option on the staff. But I think Steve probably needs to do some serious self-evaluation this offseason. This happened to me with this light going on. But he needs to do some serious self-evaluation in the offseason, swallow his pride a little bit and think about, what he wants to do with his offensive coordinator position. If it's good enough for Ryan Day, if Nick Saban
left out.
If Nick Saban can swallow, be the baddest guy in the room and hire some, high quality OCs like Steve Sarkisian, I don't know why Steve Sarkisian can, cede some of that duties and, focus on other parts of his job. The head coach of the University of Texas is not an easy job. And I know Steve, says he was hired because he was hired because he wasn't Tom Herman, and he was hired because some of the other things he could bring to the table, and he needs to focus on that, not just calling plays. Being a D1 OC is a full-time job, as is being a head coach. I know why you want to combine two of those duties. There are enough resources at Texas for him to hire a good OC to go with him. But to get out of here before all the lights completely shut off on us, buy or sell Texas losing at Mississippi State this week. Mississippi State's 4-3, 0-3 in SEC play. They're coming off a just gut-wrenching loss to Florida, a loss that was so Florida didn't even care. They still fired their coach after winning that game because they knew they had no business winning it. X, since you came to us from Mississippi a couple of years ago. I know you're covering Ole Miss, not Mississippi State, but you probably know enough about cowbell. Are you buy or selling a possible loss this weekend?
I'm gonna buy it. I think the Bulldogs get it done. I think they're better than their record. I think Texas has been abysmal on the road. And nothing about the way that this offense is playing gives me any confidence that they can exert any kind of superiority over anybody. It's just I don't believe in the way that they're playing football right now. And we kind of talked about Kentucky being a place where the margins can get small and stuff. Texas was outgained by almost 200 yards, guys. Like that's a bad team too. And I think Mississippi State's better than Kentucky. I think the environment's better. I was telling Ced, if you're going to the game, get yourself some earplugs because your ears will ring.
I ordered some on Amazon.
Yeah.
I got them. I'm getting them.
But yeah, I'm picking the Bulldogs. This is my upset special for the week.
Said, are you buying or selling a loss in Starkville this weekend?
You go, Daniel. I'm on the fence. I'm literally on the fence right now. Can you go, and then I'll go last.
Sell. I think this defense is good enough to get it done. Special teams is playing better. Offense obviously has a long way to go, but I just haven't been impressed. I think that Arizona State game was a long time ago, and I just think Texas gets done. I think they very well could go 0-4 in November with that schedule that they have coming up. But I think they at least close out October with a win, and we can readdress November once we get there. Said.
They win. I think they're going to play better than they did at Kentucky, albeit against a better team. People saying Texas plays as the competition. No. Texas is the competition now. They are mediocre. They are a middle of the road SEC team, but I'm picking a middle of the road SEC team to beat a slightly inferior defensively middle of the road SEC team, even though Mississippi State and Texas both lead the league in takeaways with 13. I think Texas, you got to think Archman is going to hit one or two of those passes, of those 8 that he missed. And if he doesn't, they're going to lose. But I think he'll bounce back. And I think they'll win another mutter. And I think it'll be like 20-17 on one of those type games. They're not a fun watch, guys. They're not a fun watch. I mean, every time I just go, this is ugly freaking football. But I think they win this one. And then after that, I might pick them one or two more times in the next 5 games.
So Sark told you on Monday that it's going to be ugly, which I thought was stunning. I mean, he basically
knows what he's coaching.
Yeah, he came out and said, "Hey, like we're going to play mud ball. Like we're going to win with defense." And I was like, "Man, like I know that it's true, but it just the admission surprised me."
Isn't that why? Didn't they bring you in here to light it up?
Yeah.
You don't want to give up play calling, and then you go, it's going to be ugly.
You can start with Danny's conference room. I think it needs some help.
Well, at least that shirt's popping. Shirt's popping, Danny.
All I know is, luckily, this game is an afternoon kick, so we probably won't be driving back to Jackson at 2:00 in the morning. Like, you all were heading back to Cincinnati this past weekend.
Heckman, Mississippi Burning, good movie. Go on, experience it though.
Yeah. Anyway, that's going to do it for us here on the Longhorn Confidential podcast. Throughout the week on statesman.com, there's going to be plenty of content, as there always is, from myself, Eck, Ced, Thomas Jones. Ced, later in the week, we're going to have our Second Thought podcast. What's going on with you and Kirk?
So we're going to have ESPN personality Dory Noka, big fixture in the SEC world. So he's going to be joining us for a segment, and we're going to talk Mississippi State, Texas, and hopefully catfish, because I think he knows a little bit about Mississippi catfish.
If you do have the On Second Thought archives last week, you got to hear me talk about my fantasy football team. More importantly, Ced and Kirk had on the Daily Texan writers, Megan and Lauren. They came on and chatted with the old timers about this new era of journalism, and that was pretty cool. That those ladies were able to come on and chat with you old fellas about their time at the Daily Texan. So
let's go derelicts. Let's go Las Vegas derelicts.
Hit the archives up for that.
Took down the Alan Trudeau team. I'm not going to say what the name is because people might come after me. But
take it the wrong way. Yes, they might take it the wrong way. But
take that, Trudeau. Yeah, don't come for me.
Check out the archives for the Daily Texan Talk. Check out me and Ced whenever you see us. We'll be happy to talk about our fantasy team. We have newsletters. Ced's Corner came out today. Find that at statesman.com. The Hook'em newsletter comes out every day, so you can sign up for that as well. But yeah, thank you for reading us. Watch us on YouTube, the Statesman website. Check us out wherever you get your podcast. But we will see you in Mississippi. That's where we're going. Yeah, see you in Starkville. Deuces.